Hello, everyone, and welcome to the series analysis episode of the Seattle Baseline Podcast. My name is Julian Smith, and I'm with Alex Hong. The Mariners fall to the Cleveland Guardians 2-1. Um, our starting pitching was actually really good, but the offense, I don't like saying they didn't do good enough because it's not really specific, but clearly they were just missing that one run. The Our closer Andres Munoz throws one away in the first game. Matt Brash as well. Our relief pitchers don't lock down the game in a way that we need them to. Our closers, Matt Brash and Andres Munoz, need to be rock solid in order for this team to continue going, and they didn't. The Mariners, they don't get outplayed by the Cleveland Guardians. I think we did outplay them, but we got beaten. We took losses where we clearly shouldn't have lost. Alex, I want to hear your thoughts on this because I just don't. It just feels really. It's not hurt. It's itchy. It's like something in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, especially because the game we lost was like such a close game. That the games we lost were both by one run. And even the Padres series, we played well all series, but we still lost that one game by one run. So it's like, we lose these really close games and it just sucks. I mean, like sometimes, you rather see your team lose by like 5 or 6 runs because it's like, oh, well, this team never had a chance in that game anyway. We can move on. But it really sucks because these were winnable games, especially the first game where we were up, we had that big first inning. Now, unfortunately, that was basically all the offense did the rest of the game. But when your starter goes 7 innings and then you have Matt Brash and Andres Munoz coming in with a 2-run lead, you realistically think like, probably gonna go well, but it didn't. So yeah, it's just unfortunate. But yeah, overall, this series was underwhelming, disappointing, and the Mariners continue to struggle on the road, is how I see it.
Um, so here's my thing. It's if Casey Legumina plays bad, okay, fine. You replace him with somebody, right? If if Jackson Kowar plays bad, okay, fine, still fine. You replace him. If Edward Bazardo plays fine, that's like the fine line, but it's still okay. You still have replacements. If Andres Munoz plays bad, man, like you literally don't have anybody else that can play that role. And so you really need Andres Munoz to continue being the closer that he is. And he can't be wasting these saves. I'm sure that he'll have days where he's not feeling very well. He was throwing 95-mile-an-hour fastballs in that in the game that he lost. Clearly, he wasn't feeling well, but down the stretch, you need to take as many wins as you possibly can, and it just sucks that you couldn't get that win after a 4-run first inning.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. And one thing we should talk about, I think, is what went well, and then we can go on to maybe things that weren't as well. But what went really well was the starting pitching. All three starters were really good. They all had quality starts. But someone I want to highlight and want your opinion on is Bryce Miller. Specifically because, he's coming back from the injury. We weren't sure how he was going to be. He had a kind of a rocky start to the season, but he had a really, really good game in the third game. So, Julian, what are your thoughts?
Um, Bryce Miller played amazing. He played excellent. If this wasn't him coming back from an injury just a few weeks ago, Bryce Miller's probably going 7 or 8 innings. He played that good. His pitch count was excellent. He gave up 2 runs, which I'm going to talk about in a second here. But honestly, 2 runs in 6 games, perfectly acceptable, especially with the way that this offense played today and it got us the win. I want to touch on the 2 runs that happened. The It was 2 outs. The bottom of the order lines out, both of them sharp lineouts. At that point, before Stephen Kwan steps up to the plate, I feel like there was an opportunity for Pete Woodworth, our pitching coach, to come talk to Bryce Miller. Hey, they're hitting the ball hard. That you're getting outs, but you're still letting them hit the ball hard. Maybe let's do this. You could have probably prevented that from happening. Not saying it would have, but there's a good chance it could have because honestly, I could see that I could see that 2-run homer coming from a mile away. Even if it wasn't 2-run homer, I could see Stephen Kwan hitting that ball hard, and then the next batter comes up and smashes that ball. Like it was pretty easy to see that Bryce Miller was struggling that inning, and I think that's something where the management could have come in and stopped Bryce Miller from doing that. Overall, though, Bryce Miller plays excellent. I really like the way he pitched today, and hopefully he keeps on doing this because this is great. If Bryce Miller keeps on doing this for this playoff push, I feel so much better for the Mariners going forward.
Yeah, something I do kind of want to touch on is I believe it was the first game where Randy Arozarena should have had a triple, but then the third baseman blocked the plate. That was terrible. That was so bad. I don't know. That honestly should be like a reviewable play. So I guess it wasn't reviewable. So I mean, that one, the triple could have really changed the game because Randy definitely would have been safe. Like it was like clear as day. Like he would have beaten the throw and it just sucks. So yeah, there's little things like that like there's not much the Mariners can do. I feel like overall though we kind of got a little unlucky in this series. We had some bad breaks go our way. And it's baseball, so and with such a short so many games and a lot of things that can happen, it's not like everything can go our way. So I don't know. I feel like they definitely didn't play as well like as they could have as a team, but there were definitely some factors that I felt like the Mariners got a little unlucky.
Well, here's the question for you though, Alex, is that we're in the last part of the playoffs, right? Like we're the not the last part, the last spot in the playoff race in the wild card. Nobody's going, yeah, the Mariners got unlucky. It's fine. If they miss the playoffs, let's say. Nobody's saying that. They need to keep on like they need to keep the pedal to the metal and keep on going because this is the final playoff push. They are in the playoff spot right now, but honestly, after 3 days, we might be out of it. And these games where you're either winning or you're 1 run down, these games are crucial. And I feel like the Mariners struggled to cash in on those.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like in the playoff, luckily the teams behind us, no one's really gone on a hot streak. The Royals, they have been catching up, but they've been beating up on teams like the Chicago White Sox, so it's not like they're beating up on Hugh or like the Brewers or like the Dodgers. I'm not like too worried about them, but I feel like overall we have a very important series in September, two series against Houston and the Royals. So that I feel like could be a big determination. Right now though, we want right now, as it stands, that series could determine if the Mariners end up making the playoffs, even being in the wild card, or even winning the division, right? But winning these games against these bad teams, like that would still give us a boost in maybe we don't need to like win all those games against those teams. We could just win a few and that would be good enough, right? So every win matters, like you said. So one other thing I want to talk about in the Guardian series is the bullpen. And specifically um, in this, I'm a little concerned about Caleb Ferguson. He has not been good the last few games. Do you have any thoughts? Or because right now, I was really happy in the last game when they put in Gabe Spire instead of Ferguson. Because I feel like we've been kind of switching, like they put in Ferguson in a lot of situations, right, in the seventh inning and such, but he has not been doing well lately so far.
I feel like Caleb Ferguson being the acquisition at the trade deadline gives him a lot more trust in the eyes of the managers. But you can't forget this guy is a middle reliever. He's not a high leverage reliever by any means, and clearly it shows. One thing I see from Ferguson that he's been doing not so good is he's trying to strike a lot of people out, and that's not really his thing. His specialty is the weak grounder to short or third that gets the out easily at first. He doesn't need to get swing and miss in order to succeed, and I feel like he's putting a lot of pressure on himself to do that. With the way that the Mariners defense is lined up, I don't think he really needs to be that cautious against hitters. And so I hope he continues or not continues. I hope he bounces back. I think Caleb Ferguson is a really talented player, and going into the playoffs, he's going to be a really valuable piece, especially with hitters trying to foul a bunch of pitches off. For him to get that weak grounder is going to be really massive for this team moving forward.
Yeah. Before we move on, do you have any more thoughts on maybe the offense and what they could have done better or didn't do as well?
Luke Raley has got to go, and I'm sorry. I know I talked about Luke Raley putting on the glasses and all of a sudden becoming the best player ever in the last video, but I'm gonna take it back. I'm not really gonna take it back. I'm gonna take one step back. I'm gonna go from saying Luke Raley is now a great player to saying that Luke Raley needs to take some time figuring it out because clearly with the glasses he can see the ball better, but he's making so many adjustments. Like he's closing off his swing to the ball. He's making way too many adjustments at once to be
Mhm.
playing at the major league level. And I feel like sending him down to the minor leagues after Robles comes back from his what's it called?
Suspension.
Yeah, suspension. I feel like that would be pretty big for Luke Raley. I don't think that this is the end of Luke Raley's like major league career. This doesn't mark the end of Luke Raley being Luke Raley. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that because he's making such a big change, that honestly might make him really good in the future. Luke Raley needs to take a little bit of time off from the major league roster and take as many at bats as he can at the minor league level because with Dom Canzone playing the way that he is, he's not going to get the at bats necessary. And when he does get the at bats necessary, he's striking out almost every time. And so
Mhm.
I need Luke Raley to be in the minors instead of in the major leagues. And that's honestly with the offense, they're all so on and off. That's the only move I would make. Everybody else just needs to be at their game.
Yeah, something we could quickly touch base on is that the rosters are about to expand because by two spots as we enter September. Um, there's several Mariners that definitely could be called up in this case to take advantage of the extended roster spots. Do you have any player that you really want to see called up?
Leo Rivas. Just give me Leo Rivas. Like I don't even care about the other roster spot that we might be opening up. I just care that
Mhm.
we get Leo Rivas because this guy is a demon at getting on base. Um, Ever since the start of this channel, I've been high on Leo Rivas. I've loved Leo Rivas because I love players that can get on base. As your 9-hole hitter, he will get on base for you. And you know what? Randy Rosarena, Cal Raleigh, and Julio Rodriguez, they specialize in hitting home runs. Instead of hitting a solo shot, that turns into a 2-run home run. That is 1 run. You know how many runs we lost by in like the last 3 times we've lost? 1 run.
One run.
We've lost by 1 run. Leo Rivas represents that 1 run, especially Julio Rodriguez's home run, Randy Rosarena's home runs, Cal Raleigh's home runs. Cal Raleigh has 50 home runs. You know, if Leo Rivas gets on base for all 50 of those, you get basically 50 more runs added to your score.
Yeah, I'm a
This
little
is how the
surprised
Mariners will win.
he hasn't been called up at least once since early in the season. But yeah, I feel like that's a definite chance, especially with Ko Young sort of struggling lately. Definitely struggling lately.
Mhm.
I think this will give him a good chance to, give him maybe a small break and put in Rivas and see what he can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, um, we could quickly talk about where the Mariners stand right now. They are still in the wild card. They are still 3 games up against Kansas City, but the Yankees and the Red Sox have both taken either a 2.5 or 3 game lead on Seattle, which is a little unfortunate, especially because, um, the Mariners, like I said, they struggle on the road this season, and any team does. So being on the top of the wild card is a big deal. compared to being last. So yeah, it's a little unfortunate, but the Mariners still somehow they're actually closer to winning the division than they are with the wild card. There are still 2 games behind Houston. I feel like every time we go on here, we say, "Oh, the Mariners are still 2 games behind Houston," and even after the Mariners lose these series, they're lucky to be in this situation, to be honest.
Yeah. The Mariners are 2 games back from Houston, and it is honestly, I can't believe it with how bad this team's been playing recently. We should be like 10 games back at this point. But honestly, you know what? I'll take it. If we can get to where Houston is, if we can beat Houston and we can get that home game wild card game, I will be so happy. And also, um, we're I don't think that the Mariners, I mean, it's hard to say because I don't think the Mariners are playing at the level that I thought we would see them play. And so I think there's a real chance that the Mariners turn it up from here. Honestly, with the extended roster spots, with honestly the way that this lineup is constructed, I feel like there's a real possibility that the Mariners can go out and become a real threat in this month because they need to be. If they don't make the playoffs, then what are they going to do? Like they literally don't have anything. They went out and got 2 of the best rental bats that were available at the deadline.
Mhm.
They need to make the playoffs. There's no other option, and it makes me frustrated to see this team struggle against a team like the Cleveland Guardians. But let's move on to the Rays series because this is a team that's really similar to the Guardians in many ways. The Rays are as as a team, the way that they play, I don't think is very similar, but the the position that they're in is very similar because the Rays are 5.5 back of the wild card spot, and then Cleveland is 4 games back. Alex, what do you think about the Mariners going into the Tampa Bay series, especially after losing to the Guardians? Like, how what do we need to do to win this?
Mariners, this is an important series for them to bounce back. Historically, we have done pretty well against the Rays, so that is one positive side. Like we do good against the Padres, we beat the Padres, so maybe some good stuff will happen. But yeah, overall, I feel like the Rays are a little unlucky. They haven't been playing well recently, but they're in a really, really good division. They have the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Blue Jays. So I mean, they're kind of just like the odd ones out. So they still are a threatening team that can definitely win some games. Yandy Diaz is good. Junior Caminero is good. Like they have Brandon Lau. They have these players who can definitely produce. And pitching wise, they have Rasmussen, right? He's good. So they have like players who are good, but the Rays they've been a little inconsistent this year, especially as of lately, their second half year. Remember, at one point they were the top team in the wild card. Definitely not anymore. They are out of the wild. They're not even the first team out of the wild card. So I think the Mariners got to go in, take advantage. I want to see some players really do well. Cal Raleigh, I know he usually does pretty well against the Rays. Randy Rosarena against his former team, he does well. There's a lot of people I'm counting on that can do well. That I feel like if they do well, it'll be good for the Mariners.
100%. One thing that this Mariners team needs to focus on is they can't be giving up home runs to nobodies. That's what they've done this whole time. They didn't get beat by Stephen Kwan, or they
I
did
was
get beat by Stephen Kwan, but they didn't get beaten by Jose Ramirez. Ramirez did nothing this series. He was almost the nobody player in this series. The bottom of the lineup killed you in the Cleveland Guardians series, and they really desperately need to stop doing that. Logan Gilbert didn't play well. Well, he did play well, but he fell apart against that part of the lineup a little bit. It seems like the Mariners are for some reason, they just can't seem to figure it out against the lower part of their lineup. They seem to play down to that competition a little bit. The Mariners need to do
Mm,
better in that sense. And so if they can do that, I think the Mariners have a good chance at beating the Tampa Bay Rays.
I agree. Yeah, I'm really hoping one thing I want that does really well is the pitching. Castillo's pitching in the first series. I hope he has a good comeback. He's been struggling for the last few series or the last few games he's pitched. It'd be good if he had a nice one here against Tampa. The stadium overall is pretty pitcher friendly, I believe, right? Tropicana Field.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hoping things go well. And for the rest of the starting pitching, I mean, we just had a good one against the Guardians. So, yeah, just got to keep it up. We talked about how pitching hasn't been good all year, like that good all year, but it has the potential to be really good. So, and if they can get hot down the line before the playoffs and they end up making the playoffs, it's going to be deadly.
Yeah. My message to the Mariners, hey, schoolwork is already getting really stressful, and for the sake of my sanity, please make the playoffs and please win. Like I I swear, like I'm about to like die here. So
Yeah.
the Mariners need to start winning.
Yeah.
But get more hits, get more runs, and get more wins. Just keep going. Hey, thank you everyone for tuning in. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our beautiful face on YouTube. Check out our Instagram. And as always, go Mariners.
Go Mariners.